So I moved to New York City with no set job, and now about a month and a half in, I'm starting to make a living for myself, as well as I'm continuing to do what I love. And it's awesome. I want to explain how it all went down. Now, before we get into anything, I just want to make something clear. This is not my story of how I moved to New York City with $100 in my pocket or no money to my name, working as a starting freelancer. I had money saved up, as well as I had a plan. I had a rough plan of what I was going to do, and I also knew how I was going to do it. This story is more about figuring out who I was going to do it with, as well as where I was going to do it. And that is what I think is the most difficult thing as a creative, is figuring out where you should land or what is your lane. And I'm still figuring it out. But in this video, I really want to dive deeper into how I'm building a creative network for myself and how I'm able to land certain jobs and, experience certain things around New York City. Because when I moved here, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone personally working in a creative space. And now I feel like I have a solid network of people around me. Super happy with all the people that I've been able to meet in the past month and a half. And I want to dive deeper into how I kind of made that happen. So going back, when I was back in California, I had to make a plan of how I was going to approach the city, how I was going to approach jobs. But even before I had made that plan, I had to really sit down and figure out who I was. What do I offer as a creative? Who am I? Am I a vlogger, a photographer, a videographer, a storyteller? What even am I? Do I record podcasts? Am I just another content creator floating around in the universe? The branches of who Sam Snowden is. I had to be brutally honest with myself, what I'm good at, what I'm not. And I literally opened up my notebook, wrote down who I was and who I wanted to become as a creative. Once I feel like I had a more clear picture of that, I was able to understand where I could go from that and what was my angle. It was just a really good starting point, and it allowed me to understand more about myself. Basically what I'm trying to say is the one thing that I figured out that I'm really solid at is telling stories. I know I guess that's subjective, but that's just what I'm most passionate about, and that's what I feel like I have the most room to grow into. And so that was kind of my angle, was I'm going to reach out to, people that tell stories that inspire me, or people that are story based. That was really what I thought. So moving forward, the next step was figuring out, how am I going to build my network? How am I going to find more opportunities for myself and use my skill set to get my name out there? But also, how am I going to support myself, with bills? Because the city is fucking expensive, just to be quite frank. So once again, got the notebook out again, and I wrote down every single creative or creator, or whatever you want to call it, people that I've been following on Instagram that I knew lived here, whether it was directors, photographers, filmmakers, podcasters, people working in the music industry. Once I had all those names down, I was going to reach out to every single one of those people, just DMing, cold DM. None of those people were following me on Instagram. It's because I trust my work, and it's because, I don't have a massive following, but it doesn't really matter about your following. It matters more about your body of work and how you carry yourself. I also just have built inner confidence in me, and I trust my work ethic, and I also trust my willingness to throw myself into random situations that might not be the most comfortable or might not be the most familiar, but I know that from that I'm going to be able to learn so much. I just think that's equally or almost more valuable than a technical skill set. Something that you can't really put on a resume is just your willingness to try new things. That's something that I knew that I am, strong at. I don't think I'm technically that great of a filmmaker with the gear I use or all this stuff, but I've always been willing to work my ass off and put myself in a position to learn and be a student. And I knew that moving here, I wanted to be a student, and I want to be a student of this entire industry. And that was my plan moving forward. So as I mentioned in the last two videos, I talked about the Hamptons event. After that happened, I was able to kind of settle in and make a plan. And I started DMing the people that I had wrote down in my notebook. And one of the people that I DM'd was Gabe DeSanti. September 1st, so it was the first of the month. I responded to the story. I said, Gabe, exclamation point. Just wanted to reach out and say I've been a fan of your work for a minute now. I actually just moved to New York City last week. If you ever need extra hand or BTS work for your shoots, let me know. Would love to help out anyway. He responded 30 minutes after. He said, yo, what's up, Sam? Let's definitely connect next week and grab coffee. Fast forwarding to next week, get coffee with Gabe. And it was great, whatever. We shot the shit, exchanged numbers. I sent him my portfolio. And then I get a text from him literally like 2 hours after that. And he was like, hey, random, but like, do you think you could help me on a music video set this Friday? I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday when he said that. And I was just like, you know, there was no second guessing in my brain. I was like, yes, 100%, I'm there.
Almost his age yet. 5 a.m. on the bike, helping out with the music video today. The new buddy Gabe. I'm excited. It's gonna be a long ass day, but I've never really seen the city like this. It's kind of eerie right now. I kind of love it.
This was a super fun and long day, and basically I was just helping Gabe as a production assistant.
Yo, bring again in the elevator too, okay?
Gotcha. And I wasn't really even shooting anything other than some behind the scenes photos that just for him to have for his Instagram or whatever. There wasn't anything that I was doing that was like mind blowing. I think there was anyone with, you know, an able body, like a positive mindset could have easily done what I did that day. One thing that I realized that day was that your social skills working in a creative industry are so important. Like how you communicate your ideas and how you hold yourself when there's no phones, no distractions. It's just you and whoever the person you just met, and you're in a room and you're talking. Like no one gives a fuck about your Instagram following, you know, like the last project you worked with, or like the last client you had, or your social status, or like whatever. Like how you're able to hold yourself in a conversation just one-on-one is so much more valuable than your portfolio or whatever people see online, because they're never even going to get to your portfolio, or they're never even going to want to work with you if you're just like a dickhead, or you're just kind of like cold to people. That's something that I've really tried to work on, is just like be a good person first and don't fixate on what you could create with them or whatever. The creating and art can come second, but like the relationship should always come first. That's something that I've put so much emphasis on, is like I didn't come here to make a lot of money for the first few months. I came here in hopes of building a lot of like really strong relationships and people that I genuinely love being around, and I hope that they genuinely love being around me. And I know that in the long run, that is going to be the holy grail. Only good stuff comes from putting yourself out there like that. I share that story because me reaching out to Gabe and working with him literally like the next day has created another domino effect in some amazing, awesome opportunities, literally just because I shot a DM. I was able to shoot with his roommate, Brett, who shares an office with Gabe at 368. Super successful YouTuber, entrepreneur, actually someone that I've been following for a little while. I've been able to like work with their team just here and there, not super frequently, but like it's just been a dope experience to see worlds collide. To tie a bow on this whole story with Gabe is he actually referred me to someone that was working at a startup, and by the time this video is posted, I'll be working there, you know, part-time 2 or 3 days a week. You know, it was literally just showing up and just doing the damn thing. And we're also really grateful. So Gabe, if you're watching this, shout out to you, bro. Appreciate it. So like, Sam, what are these stories for? Like, are you just trying to tell us like how you're making it? Like, is that the point? A little bit. Yes. Like obviously I want to document the process, but I make these because as a kid growing up watching YouTube, watching my favorite creators, I never really found videos like this. You always saw the what, you always saw like who they're doing it with, but you never really saw like how, you know? People like to keep that to themselves, but I have no shame in just sharing like how I'm doing this, because no one really has like, you know, mentored or taught me the way to create a living or create a career for yourself in this space. Everything I'm doing and learning is from trial and error. And so I hope that through all my mistakes, through all my like successes, I hope you can learn something from that, because I just feel like there's not a lot of videos out there that actually explain like how people are actually doing it and how people are making a living for themselves, because it's so hard and nothing's ever guaranteed in this industry. I just want to hopefully be a voice and be an avenue for younger creators, or even just like people in other industries, to like take little bits and pieces from this and be able to apply it to their own life, because there's something to be said about saying yes and just having a fuck it mentality, especially when you're young. It's got me to this point, and it made me feel a lot more confident in myself, and I hope that I'm able to share more of those stories with you guys and Yeah, so that's basically my story. That's it. I'm really fixated on not creating a fan base, or creating a following. I really want to create a community. I don't care if it's 10 people, I don't care if it's 50 people or one or how it is, but like the more that you can feel like you're connected to me, and the more I feel like I'm being as transparent as possible with my life, with Create More and everything that I've done with that's what I want this community. That's what I want this community to like stand for. It's just to be able to create more opportunities for yourself, create more art, create more love, and create more moments. I appreciate the Create More community. I'm just gonna start calling it that, And I haven't even been saying this, but leave a like if you love the video. Smash the like button. I haven't said that in a while. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We're kind of close to 1,000 subscribers. Literally been inching my way over the years. And I'll see you guys in the next one.